Part 8. While Eddie was attempting to use logic and scientific data to rationalize his emotional choices, Tabitha lay in bed filled with self-loathing and regret at her own past self. After that first time together, Tabitha and Mitch continued dating, but it was different now. Their intimacy improved to a degree, but Tabitha felt a wall being built between them. Mitch got snippier and more demanding of her time. His already jealous nature seemed to deepen into a desire for complete control of Tabitha's schedule. She felt flattered by all of the attention and naively consented to giving him access to her phone, her calendars, and everything inside herself. But the more she gave, the scarier he became and rougher in their lovemaking. The first time he hit her, she was so surprised that it barely even hurt. Exhausted with studying and writing papers for her first final week at college, Tabitha started crying in front of Mitch one night. She expected to be comforted and held, but instead he smacked her across the face. Stunned, she sat there on his couch in the near darkness, cradling her cheek. Wide-eyed, she looked up into his cold, impassive face. There was no apology or even acknowledgement of what had just happened. Instead, he took her hand and walked her to the bedroom. Tabitha's feet followed of their own accord, and she meekly complied. It was the first time that night that she also reached her first pleasurable climax. Mitch was more attentive to her body that evening as he showered her with tender touches and kisses. Afterward, he held her close to him and her body glowed with contentment and satisfaction. Deep within, she felt mildly confused as her cheek still stung with soreness. How could someone be so cruel, yet tender? Why did she stay? That first year in college was a blur of classes and time spent with Mitch. She nearly forgot about the smack on the cheek until they both got sick with the flu that winter. She got sick first and spent hours dry heaving, praying to the porcelain goddess. Mitch did not help her, but avoided her like the plague. Tabitha understood his concern about getting sick too, but also felt completely alone with no one to take care of her. Her roommate in the dorm room spent time with her own boyfriend during that week, as she too didn't want to get sick. After sufficient rest and some fluids, Tabitha began feeling better. Then Mitch eventually got sick as well, but demanded that Tabitha take care of him. Surprised but empathetic to his plight, she skipped a day's worth of classes to play nursemaid. As she cared for Mitch in his miserable state, Tabitha felt a protective, glowing tenderness that surprised her. Is this what it felt like to take care of children? She wondered to herself. The grumpier Mitch acted, the gentler Tabitha became, as if they were both caught up in some sort of cosmic balancing game. In fact, Tabitha felt less and less connected to her own body, like a balloon tethered to the ground, but also ready to drift away on the wind. Mitch seemed less and less satisfied, as he couldn't find a reason to be upset at Tabitha's ministrations. It wasn't until she got up to leave for the night that the mood darkened within the small apartment walls. Mitch grabbed her hand in his own steel-like grip and attempted to pull her back down to sit next to him as he lay in bed. Tabitha, exhausted, merely pulled back with her own and frowned. Without a word, Mitch sat up and grabbed her by the neck, pulling her down next to him. Tabitha was completely caught off guard, grabbed his hand with both of hers, struggling to get out of his hold. Mitch's eyes gleamed with savage delight as at her thrashing, and loosened his grip to force his mouth on hers. Disgusted and terrified, Tabitha pushed uselessly against his chest and shook her head from side to side to break free. Mitch's sickness caught up with him, and he fell back against the pillows, coughing into his fist. Tabitha rolled off the bed and scrambled quickly to her feet, reaching for the doorknob as Mitch, still coughing, leapt out of bed and grabbed her arm, spinning her so fast and quickly that she stumbled, and her forehead was propelled into a jutting corner on the closet door. Despite their grunts and breathing, there was no talking, just a heaviness that covered the room in a profound silence that popped when blood began pouring down Tabitha's face from the cut just above her eye.